There's a certain kind of Hollywood optimism that refuses to die, the belief that this time nostalgia will actually pay the bills, and nowhere is that misguided confidence more visible than in the ongoing attempts to bring back Electra Woman Dyna Girl. Originally born in the polyester womb of 1970s Saturday morning television, these two superheroes have been rebooted not once but twice, each time promising empowerment, legacy, and relevance, and each time landing somewhere between parody and public self-access television. So, today on Pulp Vision, we're taking a glitter-soaked deep dive into the duel that refused to stay buried. Electra Woman Dyna Girl, the heroines Hollywood just can't stop electrocuting. Let's rewind to 1976, when bell-bottoms were currency and Sid and Marty Krofft were the psychedelic overlords of Saturday morning programming. Electra Woman Dyna Girl debuted as part of the Krofft Super Show, a grab bag of costume chaos aimed at sugar-charged kids and sleep-deprived parents. Deidre Hall played Electra Woman, the veteran heroine in yellow and red, while Judy Strangis played her plucky sidekick Dyna Girl, a dynamic duo whose main superpower seemed to be unrelenting optimism and access to glitter-based technology. Their gadgets, the so-called Electrocons, were supposedly capable of anything: lasers, grappling hooks, and occasionally, when the plot required it, the Deus Ex Machina level magic. But what really made it special wasn't the tech or even the fights, it was the camp. It was unapologetically ridiculous. It knew it was ridiculous. It was Saturday morning empowerment on a shoestring budget, proto-girl power with a kazoo soundtrack. Sure, it lasted only 8 episodes, but in the Krofft universe, that's practically syndication. Fast forward to 2001. Someone at the WB in a meeting surrounded by lava lamps and residual Buffy fumes decided Electra Woman needed a modern update. And by modern, they meant miserable. The unaired pilot reimagined Electra Woman as a washed-up alcoholic has-been living off past fame, her costume collecting dust while her dignity collected dust bunnies. Enter a new Dyna Girl, a young, bright-eyed, and painfully optimistic, who convinces her to put on the cape once again for one last ride. Sounds poignant, right? Maybe like a female Logan before Logan? No. It was awkward, cynical, and somehow managed to make Electra Woman's gadgets look less believable than in 1976. The tone was gritty superhero realism meets midlife crisis sitcom. Basically, The Boys. That's if The Boys had been filmed in a parking lot. The WB shelved it faster than you can say network note. It leaked online years later and has since become a cult artifact of what happens when irony goes too far and sincerity goes the hell out the window. 15 years later, nostalgia was trending again, and this time legendary digital studios decided to give the heroines another shot, this time starring YouTube personalities Hannah Hart and Grace Helbig. The 2016 Electra Woman Dyna Girl reboot was meant to fuse retro camp with modern meta humor. It leaned hard on irony and quirk, the cinematic equivalent of someone tweeting, "Remember the 70s?" and then following it with a sponsored ad for feminism. This reboot wasn't a disaster. It was completely made for even charming in moments, but it also felt like it didn't trust itself. It wanted to parody superhero culture and honor it, empower women and mocks empowerment tropes, be self-aware and emotionally resonant. That's a lot of hats to wear when your costume already includes a lightning bolt on your chest. Released as a digital feature through streaming platforms and YouTube Red, remember that? The film arrived, blinked, and was gone. Much like its predecessors, it found a small but passionate cult audience, mostly fans of Helbig and Hart, but no staying without the staying power. And that's the tragedy of Electra Woman Dyna Girl. Every era thinks it could make them relevant again, and every era underestimates how weirdly specific their charm really was. But here's the thing, the original Electra Woman didn't need to be reinvented. It was lightning in a bottle camp, bottled at room temperature. Its appeal came from sincerity, the complete lack of irony in a world made of foam sets, fog machines, and disco lasers. When later creators tried to update it, they kept missing the point. They assumed camp was something you could replicate, when in truth camp happens by accident. It's the product of bold ambition meeting limited resources and no self-awareness whatsoever. The moment you try to make it cool, you've already lost the spark. The WB pilot made it grim, the YouTube version made it self-conscious. Neither remembered that Electra Woman Dyna Girl was supposed to be fun. In the end, Electra Woman Dyna Girl remained what they've always been, a bright, slightly absurd reflection of their time. They were pioneers of female-led superhero media. They were silly, yes, but also sincere. And that's a combination Hollywood doesn't know how to handle anymore. Maybe they'll try again someday. Maybe someone, somewhere will figure out how to make lightning strike thrice. But until then, let's just appreciate the static. Because sometimes, the best reboot is a rerun. This has been another resurrection attempt examined, dissected, and quietly unplugged. Only on Pulp Vision, your source for the strange, the forgotten, and the unapologetically weird corners of pop culture. Because here, I don't just watch the past, I autopsy it.